WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. Hello again, everyone. Professor Schwartz here in the WSTKS-FM Worldwide studios with another mug of coffee and good old Onyx the cat hanging around after sharing a can of Fancy Feast with his sister. Today, I'd like to begin by asking you a question. Are you ready to take the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge? Sounds intriguing, right? So let's look at what this challenge involves. The 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge, so named because 2 weeks are about the average completion time for team projects that are part of this course, has 8 related components: communication, coordination, collaboration, common goals, choices, creativity, mutual contributions, and collegiality. Let me say a few words in turn now about each one of these elements that go into the challenge. First, you need to communicate with each other early and often to complete your teamwork and succeed without misunderstanding, conflict, discord, or related stress getting in the way of your learning. Get on the ball early, exchange contact information, check your university email and text messages regularly, schedule the student learning team meetings related to the completion of a particular project, and move forward with everything. Endless deliberation or waiting until just a few days before the due date is not the best path to success. Frequent communication goes a long way towards avoiding these kinds of issues. Second, your student learning team must coordinate the respective schedules and availability of team members early on in the collaborative process. Once again, that will help your team avoid frustration and stress during the 14 days or so that you need to complete your collaborative projects for the course. Yes, remote work sometimes means that you do not necessarily all need to be in the same physical or digital space at the same time to get things done. That said, however, there are many decisions and activities that are just easier to move ahead with when the members of your team meet at the same time. Even if that's just for 20 or 30 minutes, provided everyone is well organized and prepared, of course. Let's take a quick break now, and when we come back, I'll talk about 2 more parts of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. See you in just a bit. Welcome back. In the first segment, I talked briefly about communication and coordination of your activities, both of which are key to moving ahead with the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge in the most efficient way possible. Now, let's look at a couple of more pieces to the challenge puzzle. Your student learning team will next need to collaborate efficiently. Remember that effective collaboration is an ongoing and democratic process in which all student learning team members are involved, work together, and support each other throughout the process of creating a unified and coherent project. Unlike its cousin cooperative learning, in which students work in parallel without much actual intellectual exchange between group members, collaborative learning is team-centered. Ideally, team members will help each other with whatever arises, even when each person has a specific role or task of their own. Fourthly, your student learning team will next need to decide on common goals as it works to develop its collaborative projects this semester. For everything to run smoothly with team-based projects, it is vital that the members of a student learning team determine common goals, as well as what they need to do separately and together to achieve those aims. This is less possible when there is little to no organization or effective planning early in the collaborative process, which risks leading to chaos, anger, and frustration between student learning team members. It's far better to establish communication and related common goals as soon as possible after a collaborative project has been assigned. When we come back in just a moment, I'll talk about 2 additional points to keep in mind when your student learning team embarks on the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. Stay tuned. You're listening to WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. If you find this podcast useful, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our closer look at the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge and consider two more parts of the activity that your student learning team will need to address in order to move forward with its collaborative projects this semester. On that note, your team will next need to make various choices as it moves through the collaborative process. These choices could involve everything from deciding when and where all of you can meet and how you meet, to which team members will undertake the completion of which tasks specifically, to the form your digital collaborative projects will take, since teams typically have a choice of 3 or 4 options in my courses. The point to remember is that your team members need to confer and make informed decisions early in the collaborative process. Once again, endless deliberation without clear answers or decisions, or full-on stasis, think of the proverbial deer in the headlights, will not help your student learning team to move forward in a timely and productive way. You need to make decisions based on the choices available to you as soon as possible, and the people who can do that are the members of your student learning team. Sixth, your student learning team members will need to work separately and together to develop and share your learning and the creation of new knowledge. Numerous studies exist at this point demonstrating that students tend to learn more effectively and retain new information for much longer when they collaborate to develop projects that present knowledge in a new form and, importantly, add something of their own to that body of knowledge. For example, deeper thought and discussion, synthesis of information, inference, predictions, etc. In short, the creation of new knowledge goes beyond simply summarizing easily copied bytes of information from a few different sources and presenting that in the form of a report, which is less at the level of college and university and more like what we would expect in middle school or junior high, for example. In just a moment, I'll be right back to talk about the final 2 points for today that are part of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. Stay tuned, everyone. Hello again. Before the musical break, we looked at the concept of student autonomy through choices that your student learning team must make in its efforts to create interesting digital collaborative projects that convey your learning and new knowledge about the course materials you examined this semester. Let's turn now to another part of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. Namely, team members must also be sure that each person on your team contributes to upcoming collaborative projects in a timely and meaningful way. It's a stressful experience waiting for an inactive or missing in action team member to deliver something that they promised to take care of. Likewise, it is equally annoying when a team member delivers something that somehow misses the mark or is even unusable without major revision by someone else on the team. On the contrary, you want to make sure that everyone is on the same page from the start and that each person follows through with solid work submitted when it is due, if not sooner. The best way to do that is through ongoing, clear communication, which gets us oddly back to point 1 in our look at the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. Following a final quick break for a station identification, I'll be right back to round up our discussion with one last thing to keep in mind. Stay tuned. You're listening to WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. If you find this podcast useful, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And we're back. As a quick reminder, we have already talked about various elements of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge, like communication, coordination, collaboration, establishing common goals, making choices, creativity, and mutual contributions from the members of your student learning team. For all that, it's vital that your student learning team also remembers to cultivate collegiality during its digital collaboration to develop and complete various learning projects for the course. It's important to remember that everyone brings different abilities and talents to the collaborative table, and those skills should be acknowledged and considered as you craft your team projects together. When everyone feels accepted for who they are and comfortable and has the opportunity to contribute their ideas, collaborative projects take on a multidimensional nature and become much more interesting than, say, traditional papers written by a single student. Try it and see. To sum everything up then, keep in mind that there are 8 key elements that are part of the successful completion of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge. Your student learning team needs to communicate, coordinate, collaborate, articulate common goals, make a variety of choices, create, contribute, and cultivate collegiality throughout your work together this semester. Okay, I'll be right back in just a moment with a few final words for today. Okay, everyone. That will do it for this podcast on the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge and the 8 key parts of it. These include, to reiterate, timely and frequent communication, coordination of your schedules and activities, and democratic and ongoing collaboration. Other important points to remember that are part of the 14-day Digital Collaborative Learning Challenge include establishing common goals and aims for your student learning team rather than chaotic disunity. Your team must also make choices which the entire team has discussed and determined together. Your team should also craft projects that involve everyone on the team in the creative process. Finally, all team members should contribute to your collaborative projects in a timely and meaningful way while also cultivating a collegial team atmosphere. With that said, thank you for joining me this time and every time. I'll see you in class, online, or during Zoom office hours if you drop by with a question. Have a safe and productive week, everyone. With special regards from Onyx, the cat what am. So long, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye, everyone. You've just heard a podcast from WSTKS-FM Worldwide. Digital collaborative learning for the 21st century.